When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Let's get to Australia. Our Australian correspondent is Adam Peacock, of course, from codesports.com.au. Good to have you on the show as always, mate. The Reds have beaten the previously unbeaten Chiefs in Super Rugby. Looks like there's life in rugby on your side of the ditch after all.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense, this particular result. Look, the Reds are up and down. They've had a few wins, a few losses. Last week they lost the Waratahs, who are a bit the same, and no consistency. The Brumbies out of Canberra are the best Australian side. But, yeah, this one, I think, shocked everyone. It came from nowhere. The match was on, obviously, at a time when the commute's on a Friday arvo, but in the end they held on. A historic win. They celebrated like they won a World Cup. I think, does that now make it like 49-1 Australian team's record in New Zealand of the last 50 or something? I don't know, but yeah, it points towards the dominance of how good the Kiwi teams are, that they're celebrating that like they'd won the whole thing. So yeah, it was a big upset.
After that, last night, we got the chance to watch the Warriors. They had a win over the Bulldogs after 3 losses on the bounce. No doubt you've caught up with the furore during the week, if that's the right phrase for it. The chief executive of the Warriors front of shirt sponsor making claims of bias, unconscious or otherwise. That made a few waves over your side?
Yeah, it has. And look, you can... I think there's a degree of sympathy for the Warriors because, like, when all the incidents are kind of laid out in front of you, it's like, yeah, they haven't got the rubber to green, have they? So, but the point is, back to the Warriors, I think the frustration is because I think they know they're actually a pretty good footy side under Andrew Webster, and they proved it again last night by getting past the Dogs. And, they're on their way to the finals, in my opinion, and I think they would have. I don't know exactly what happened in the fallout in terms of sanctions or whatever. I don't think you can sanction a sponsor, but it's not a great look for the club going forward. But that goes to show the frustration of the joint at the moment. So, last night, as I said, they took matters into their own hands and just outplayed the Dogs on their own patch. So, good on the Warriors for sticking up for themselves, but I'm not sure that's a way forward if they're going to continually do it through the year about in the manner in which all that story broke.
Let's go to the A-Leagues, and the Central Coast Mariners play in the A-League men's semi-finals tonight. It's a 2-legged semi. The first one is tonight. You wrote a great piece during the week about the Mariners and said it could be argued, with great conviction, that the Mariners were the worst professional sporting club in Australia 3 years ago. Now they're probably, Adam, the best story in Australian sport.
Yeah, they're the underdog story, that they spend much less than anyone else. Their wage bill is under $3 million, and as I pointed out in the article, Nani was paid about $3 million this year to play for Melbourne Victory. Like, there are haves and have-nots in the A-League. I think that Wellington is not exactly like flush with cash and have the spend that some of the other clubs do, like Western United, Sydney FC, Western Sydney Wanderers, Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. Melbourne City, by the way, you think, given that they're owned by the Abu Dhabi government, that they'd be the highest wage bill going around, but they're actually not. They work within certain means, but Central Coast work within means that no others do. And another line I chucked in there basically was that they shop at Vinnie's, which is a op shop over here in Australia. I think you have it over there in New Zealand.
Yep.
But they're winning the fashion parade at the moment. So it's an incredible story, and they're doing it the right way. They get young kids in, they develop them, they make them into hardened professional footballers, and if they're good enough, they get sold. But if they're not good enough and to just stay here in Australia, they have solid A-League careers. So they're proving how it should be done without having to spend money beyond your means to be able to do it. So, yeah, it's a fantastic success story. That said, Adelaide are very good as well. So these 2 legs for this semi-final to get into the grand final will be bloody good football, I reckon. They're 2 good sides.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And just some cricket to finish. The latest threat to traditional cricket, Major League Cricket in the US. I see Aaron Finch and Marcus Stoinis have already signed, and there's word that other Australians and other nationalities will follow too. But there's also this story out of England with Jofra Archer being offered a year-round contract by the Mumbai Indians. So would this basically mean that they would control when he played international cricket?
Pretty much, yeah. So this to me is the biggest sign. Like a situation like Trent Bolt, that was a signal for the future of what's coming. This is an even bigger signal. Make no mistake, international cricket, how it looks right now, is going to look entirely different in 5 years' time. Entirely different. And how it gets controlled and how the calendar looks is a real worry, in my opinion, because the ICC have proven themselves to be not exactly stern when it comes to standing up for what's right across the board in international cricket. Now, India have all the power, absolute power here, because you look at the ICC revenues, it's $600 million a year that then gets distributed to the nations around the place. India gets a huge chunk of that because a massive chunk of that $600 million comes from Indian broadcasters who want to show the ICC tournaments, the World T20 World Cup, the 50 Over World Cup, the World Test Championship. Those properties are basically subsidised heavily by Indian TV. So what goes in comes out in terms of distributions. Now, the ICC can't turn around to the Indian cricket authorities and say, get stuffed, you can't do this. The BCCI is just going to do what they want. Hopefully they've got the betterment of cricket somewhere in their mind, but it's a question because it's commercially just rampant over there in India about how big the sport can be. So that in turn is going to affect the calendar, and things like we've seen with these rumours, it's not confirmed, about Jofra Archer signing for the Mumbai Indians on a 12-month contract, 4-year deal, blah, blah, million a year. He plays 4 T20 competitions around the world that are kind of aligned to the IPL. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. Marcus Stoinis, Cam Green, those guys from Australia, some talented cricketers over there in New Zealand, same thing. Trent Bolt, he could sign up one of those deals tomorrow. So, man, I just don't know what international cricket's going to look like in the next couple of years, but I do know that it's not going to look like what it does now.
Absolutely fascinating. Great stuff, Adam. Great to chat as always. Thanks for joining us. We'll chat again same time next Saturday.
Cheers, Piney. Have a good one.
You have a good one too, mate. Adam Peacock, codesports.com.au, our regular Saturday afternoon Australian correspondent here on News Talk ZB.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
Spring is here. That means it's time to get out and get on the road in my all-new 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid. You heard right. The Honda CR-V is available in a hybrid model. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been waiting for the right time to make the switch to a hybrid, and I'm so glad I did. Not only am I greener, I can take on any terrain with the available real-time all-wheel drive and sport mode. Make a move to one of the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Find your CR-V hybrid at your local Honda dealer today.